They started in a ghetto with nothing, yet built the largest private fortune in history. This is the Rothschild method. Mayor Amschel Rothschild didn't have power or prestige. He had a strategy. Developing part 1, the foundation. The first pillar is unity. Before he died, Mayer gathered his 5 sons and taught them the lesson of the Scythian arrows. One arrow alone can be easily broken, but 5 arrows bound together, they are unbreakable. Actionable step 1, form your internal alliance. Generational wealth is not a solo sport. You need a trusted core team. The Rothschilds spread across Europe, Frankfurt, London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, operating as one entity. This created an information highway. They knew the news before kings and emperors. This brings us to principle 2. Information is the true currency. Speed is profit. The legend says Nathan Rothschild knew the outcome of Waterloo a full day before the government. True or not, the principle holds. When others panicked, he acted. He understood that wealth transfers from the impatient to the patient. Actionable step 2. Don't just consume news. Create channels to get data faster than your competition. Knowledge is leverage. Principle 3. The compound effect. They didn't spend, they multiplied. They reinvested profits back into the family business, compounding their influence over decades. Actionable step 3. Live below your means to fuel your capital base. Every dollar saved is a soldier recruited for your army. But money wasn't enough. They needed trust. Principle 4 is reputation. Their word was their bond. In an era without instant checks, their signature was as good as gold. They also protected their internal comms. They wrote in code. Actionable step 4. Protect your intellectual property. In the digital age, privacy is power. Keep your strategy internal. Share results, not plans. They didn't pick sides in wars, they picked profit. They remained neutral, financing whoever could pay. Actionable step 5, emotional detachment. Business is not personal. It is mechanics. Be agnostic. Diversification preserves wealth, but concentration builds it. They bet big when they were sure. Generational wealth ignores quarterly results. It looks at quarter centuries. It requires patience that few possess. It requires sacrifice. You are not building for your weekend. You are building for your great-grandchildren. Unity, information, reinvestment, reputation, detachment. These are the pillars of the foundation. Without them, money is fleeting. With them, it becomes a dynasty that outlives kings. The Rothschild method. With the foundation set, they turned their eyes to the world stage. They realized the biggest borrowers were not merchants, but nations. This began the expansion. They prioritized solving expensive problems. Wars are expensive. Peace is expensive. Infrastructure is expensive. When the Duke of Wellington needed gold to pay his troops fighting Napoleon, the government couldn't get it there. Nathan Rothschild could. He used his network of smugglers not for contraband, but for the empire's payroll. He solved the problem no one else could touch. Stop looking for customers. Look for crises. Where is the pain acute? That is where the margin is. They didn't just fund wars. They funded the future. They built the railways across Europe. This is how you become the infrastructure. Don't just sell the product. On the rails it moves on. By owning the railways and the bonds, they became gatekeepers of the economy. Build platforms, not just products. Then there is the arbitrage of trust, moving capital where it is scarce. If gold was expensive in Paris and cheap in London, they bought in London and sold in Paris. Instant profit. Find inefficiencies. Where is value trapped? Your job is to move it to where it is needed. Ultimately, this creates indispensability. They made sure governments couldn't function without them. When a government needed a loan to balance the books, there was only one door to knock on. Power isn't sitting on the throne. Power is funding the throne. Make your boss or client need you to survive. They created a network effect. The more people used them, the stronger they got. The first global bank. They also bought social capital. They threw the best parties. They bought the best art. They bought the best wine. They understood that perception is reality. To be a king, you must live like one. Invest in your brand aura. They mastered the art of liquidity. When the world was dry, they had water. Solve crises. Build infrastructure. Arbitrage inefficiencies. Become indispensable. Build an aura. This is how you go from rich to ruling. You don't just play the game. You build the board the game is played on. The expansion is